Signori, oggi reaction molto scoppiettante, come in realtà dico per ogni altra reaction. Soprattutto la faccio da almeno 3 anni forse, ma dettagli. Signori, secondo video giornata, oggi, come dire, signori, torna il buon Dantevius, Mobizen mi ha letteralmente pugnalato alle spalle quella reaction sulle comunità di Reddit. Oggi parliamo di un altro social che non ho mai provato, però come dire, forse è ancora più infame di Reddit. Signore e signori, 4chan, l'iceberg spiegato da Dantevius. Allora, vabbè ragazzi, oltre... Ah, vabbè, dai. Raga, domani si scende in Calabria, arriverà quel video sui mondiali e poi vedremo poi vedremo per il resto. Poi, non si sa ragazzi, non si sa. Ma nel frattempo, boh, bando le ciance direi che posso iniziare, ok? Dai.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. 4chan, the most
Il Wojak, vabbè, subito che devo farne un altro di video che cioè, vabbè.
compelling argument for mandatory castration.
Esattamente.
How you doing? I'm Dan Tavius. Today, we're going to be doing an iceberg explain video on one of my favorite websites, 4chan. And now, I realize a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about might come off as normie if you're already familiar with 4chan.
Normie.
But, you know, just keep watching because we're going to start off with the most obvious, well-known stuff. And we'll get into the more obscure stuff later. And I know I keep saying this, but this is the last one. I'm serious. This is the last iceberg explain video I'm doing. That's it. No more after this. Let's go.
Vediamo se hai mantenuto sta promessa. 5 mesi fa, 5 mesi fa, guarda cosa hai pubblicato. Come dire. Inizio con un po' di ipocrisia, perfetto, proprio nice.
B, or random as it's also known, was 4chan's first message board. Users can post basically whatever they want on here, and for that reason, most of the degenerate stuff that 4chan's known for is usually born here. Now, believe it or not, I used to be a bit of a B-tard myself back in the day. I remember being a young lad, about 17 years of age, browsing B during one of my many nitrous oxide binges. Good times. Green texts are like stories or anecdotes that are written in a way that's unique to 4chan. It's hard to explain, so let me just give you a few examples. Be me.
Voglio... Comunque queste robe qua che poi molte sono diventate dei meme praticamente, tipo, mi sa che la menzionerà dopo, mi sa.
34. Schizo. Can't hold down a job. Hard to just get out of the house. $25,000 need bucks a year. Fat. Drink. Smoke. Spend every day in front of the computer laughing to frogs.
Wojak. I'm pretty sure everyone
Ah sì, ecco qua i Wojak, che infatti sì.
the Wojak at this point. I've used them in a bunch of my thumbnails. The only way you haven't seen one is if you've been in a coma since 2008. And if you have, you probably wish you were still in that coma. Anyways, Wojaks come in a bunch of different varieties. You got your soy jack, you got your NPC, you got the withered Wojak, the Coomer, the Doomer, the Consumer, the 30-year-old Boomer, and my personal favorite, Grug, Pepe. Before
Pepe the
Wojaks,
Frog, mamma mia, ci siamo visti pure il video di sedia su Pepe the Frog, mamma mia che loro incredibile.
at Pepe the Frog, which is the OG reaction character. Similar to Wojaks, Pepe also had a bunch of different variations like Smug Pepe and Pee Pee Poo Poo Pepe. He originally appeared in the comic book series Boys Club in this comic strip where he pulls his pants down at the urinal and says, "Feels good, man." But a whole
Feels good,
culture
man.
formed around this character with a bunch of 4chan users making their own comics and memes with him as the star. He also became associated with the alt-right at some point, but we'll get into that
Madonna,
later. Anonymous is a loosely organized
sì, quelli là, gli hacker.
of hackers that originate on 4chan. The name Anonymous comes from the fact that most of 4chan's users don't have a username or anything. They're just anonymous. So these 4chan hackers have been behind some crazy stunts over the years, which again, we'll get into later. Bronies. Bronies are
Oh mio
grown-ass
Dio, i broni, oh mio Dio, Anche qua Sedi ha fatto il video e ce lo siamo
Adult
visti.
males who are huge fans of the show My Little Pony. The standard brony looks something like this. R9K, aka Robot
Ah, ok. Robot.
9001, is a board that would
E ricordiamo anche, mamma mia, quel vaso, oh mio Dio! Ah!
originally intended to be exclusively for original content only. If you posted something in there that had already
Che io ragazzi, più guardo questo video, più mi devo guardare Impatto Genshin. Scusate ragazzi, è che a me piace sapere della scemenza umana di internet. Voi avete visto che l'anno scorso, anzi anche quest'anno, mi sono rivisto tutto Ciao Darwin? Ecco qua, adesso, dopo dalla scemenza umana, quella per spettacolo, adesso voglio la scemenza umana di internet, quella reale, proprio.
been posted before, it would automatically get deleted. Eventually, the board just evolved into people posting a bunch of green text stories about their lives, mostly complaining about how shitty it is. Hole is the politically incorrect board. Today, it's
Ah,
the most popular image board on 4chan, and probably the most degenerate one as well. It's a place to discuss news, world events, and political issues, and other related topics. And if you know anything about 4chan, you know this is a wild place. This is like the internet equivalent of a gas station bathroom. Weeb. A weeb is a white dude who is obsessed with Japanese culture, specifically
sì,
anime. Rage comics. These were
vabbè,
shitty
semplice.
amateur comics
E
that were
vabbè, questi come dire.
popular in 4chan back in like 2008. The most popular Rage Comics character was, of course, Trollface. And people use Trollface today to indicate that some trolling is going down. We do a little trolling. It's called We Do a Little Trolling.
Beh, cioè,
Guys, I'm really excited about the sponsor of today.
no, no, bah, niente sponsor, vattene
A
via.
free wooden postcard of your choosing. Pretty cool, huh? Again, the code is DANTA15 for 15% off and a free custom postcard. Thank you to Holdscom for sponsoring this video. Let's get back into it.
Ok, torniamo a noi, sì.
Cicada 3301. I've talked about
Ok, Cicada
this in multiple
3301.
videos. If you want a full breakdown, watch my disturbing Reddit post iceberg. But I'll give a basic rundown
Ok.
here. January
Ah, c'è pure l'iceberg su. Vedrò di fare anche quello sui post di Reddit, vediamo.
4th,
Boh.
2012. This image was posted to 4chan. We're looking for highly intelligent individuals. To find them, we have devised a test. There's a message hidden in this image. Now, I remember when this came out, I actually attempted to decipher it myself. I thought, hey, I'm a smart guy, okay? I have like 12 degrees from DeVry University, so this should be a cakewalk. Boy, was I wrong. The people who were smart enough to decipher the initial clue were led down a crazy rabbit hole of puzzles and tests that they needed to solve. Eventually, some guy found coordinates that led to multiple locations all over the world. And if you went to those locations, you would find a QR code that took people to a website on the dark web. After about a month of this, the creator of Cicada 3301 posted this message on 4chan. We have now found the individuals we sought, thus our month-long journey ends. Nobody knows who these people are, if they're a cult, if they're CIA, or if it's just some fat neckbeard who made a bunch of money on Bitcoin and is just fucking around with people. The Habbo
Boh,
Hotel...
non si sa se hanno fatto, che ne so, magari era pure no, una di quelle sette pedofile, vabbè, scusate. Io ci ho partecipato pure ad un raid di Abotel, sì, Poldo, mamma mia, una delle migliori esperienze che abbia mai fatto in diretta. Vabbè, c'è da dire che tutte le esperienze più belle in diretta sono state da Poldo. Magari qualcuno anche da Tearless Raptor, però sì, sono state. Però sì, mamma mia, Poldo, mamma mia.
This is a classic. If you don't know Habbo Hotel, it was kind of like a video game
Sì.
chat room where you would make these avatars.
Effettivamente mi sono giocato solamente per quella live, cioè. E poi 3 anni dopo Poldo fece sì, pure il video intero su Abotelle ed è stato bellissimo, veramente. È pure apparso tra i consigliati in un video di Poldo, quindi vabbè. E, e poi. Aspetta, mi era venuto anche in mente No, non mi è venuto in mente in realtà,
Go talk to
scusate.
people. One of the most popular hangouts in the game was, of course, the pool. So a bunch
Oh,
of
era quello dei neri,
made their
tipo.
own characters and exploited a glitch that allowed them to block off the pool, where they kept spamming the phrase "pools closed due to AIDS." Heck, Keck is
Cioè.
the 4chan version
Kek, sì, quei tipo.
of LOL. If you
Eh,
ever played World of Warcraft, you know why. When a Horde character would type in LOL, the Alliance players would see it as KEK instead. Eventually, this turned into its own country and religion. Kekistan
Sì.
is the country of origin for all pole shit posters, and they worship the Egyptian deity Kek, which is represented by Pepe the Frog.
Ma
To
che...
this day, there's only one country in the world who recognizes Kekistan
ovve- nei paesi... nei paesi Balcani, cioè.
sovereignty, and that's Kosovo. 4chan
Il
Tumblr.
Kosovo, cioè... ma no. 4chan, oh no, guerra da Tumblr e 4chan, oddio.
4chan and Tumblr basically represented both sides of the internet. 4chan being the male-dominated, politically incorrect side, while Tumblr was the mostly female SJW side. And it should go without saying that both sides absolutely hated each other. And in 2014, this hatred turned into a full-blown war. Except instead of guns and bombs, they were fighting with shit posts. On June 14th, Tumblr started the aggression with this post detailing how Tumblr users were going to raid 4chan. We will go to their site as a form of protest. We will overwhelm them with corrections on their awful lies and let them really know what the world thinks of them. But 4chan didn't just take this assault lying down. They launched their...
Madonna, dai tempi della guerra tra web e TV in Italia... Raga, un'idea malsana, facciamo... La pagina di Wikipedia, no, per favore no. Però esiste la wiki di YouTube Italia, quindi potrei farlo pure là, non lo so, raga, boh.
own counteroffensive where they started flooding Tumblr posts with gore, racism, and anti-SJW memes. Tumblr then had to go on the defensive and countered those posts with posts of cute animals and rainbows. But when the dust finally settled, the only thing that war proved is that war.
Ok.
War never changes.
Moot,
La guerra non cambia mai.
Chris Poole is the guy who created 4chan, a decision which I'm sure he regrets every...
Aspetta. Oh, qua.
Moot, aka Chris Poole, is the guy who created 4chan, a decision which I'm sure he regrets every single day. Conspiracy.
Come dire, un uomo malvagio, un uomo, come dire.
So a lot of internet conspiracy theories get their start.
Queste sono le cose. Ma sti sottotitoli, madonna santa. Sottorai i sottotitoli, ragazzi, sottorai i sottotitoli, bene.
War never changes.
Dai.
Moot, aka Chris Poole, is the guy who created 4chan,
Okay.
a decision which I'm sure he regrets every single day. Conspiracies. So a lot of
Okay,
internet conspiracy
cospirazioni,
theories get their start on 4chan's X board, also known as the paranormal board.
Eh.
Pizzagate and QAnon being the best example.
Sì, infatti, che mo sto sentendo tutti dire, dopo Epstein, era tutto vero, avevano ragione. Ragazzi, lo sapete quali erano le persone che, come dire, più credevano a queste teorie? L'estrema destra, quindi sì, praticamente state dando da mangiare al vostro nemico, quindi, come dire, siatene grati. Allora, ragazzi, non so come sentirmi del fatto che è da tanto tempo che non sento di Epstein Files. Da una parte è un argomento che assolutamente va risolto e quindi va assolutamente, come dire, no, trattato. Ma dall'altra ho odiato il modo con cui lo trattava l'internet, quindi andiamo avanti.
Speaking of that, Pizzagate. I mean, there goes my hopes of monetizing this video. Pizzagate was a theory that a pizza place in DC was secretly a front for a child trafficking ring. The reason people believe this is because somebody hacked Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman's emails, and in a few of the emails, he was talking with the owner of Comet Ping Pong and Pizza. So some people on 4chan thought that these messages were coded and that there were
Hot dog boy, pizza girl, cheese lit, pasta lit.
being held in the basement of the pizza place. QAnon was this guy who claimed to work for U.S. intelligence who started leaking information to the poll board. The stuff he was saying was like Pizzagate, but on steroids. That a global cabal of Democrats and celebrities were trafficking children and drinking their blood. And Donald Trump was fighting a secret shadow war to try and stop them. One of the craziest things that Q said was that John F. Kennedy Jr. faked his own death in 1999, and he's actually Q. Like, he himself is Q.
Mamma mia.
That he was gonna come back from the dead and expose this whole thing. Gamer.
Ragazzi, veramente, non credi a queste teorie della cospirazione, ok? Veramente. Lo so, ragazzi, sarò un po' scemo, però diciamolo com'è. Io ho odiato come l'internet ha trattato gli Epstein Files. Che tutti dovevano andare a protestare, invece andavano su Reddit, dicevano, ah, teorie di cospirazione, io che ne so, Chioron, Pizzagate. La cazzo di teoria che Michael Jackson stava a proteggere i bambini dall'isola col Neverland Ranch. Che vabbè, ora vabbè, si può dire tutto su se Michael Jackson o era colpevole o non era colpevole della roba che molestava minorenni, però come dire, però sì, ma Maronna Santa. Ah. L'internet, Gamergate.
A few years ago, you couldn't go anywhere on the internet without hearing about Gamergate, but I never really gave enough of a shit to look into it. But basically, Gamergate was another stupid moment in the culture war where gamers and SJWs faced off against each other. It all started with an indie developer named Zoe Quinn that dropped a game called Depression Quest. Many gamers thought her game was a heaping pile of dog shit, but gaming journalists gave it glowing reviews. So gamers were already pissed off about this, but then a blog post came out from Zoe's ex-boyfriend, who claimed that she was sleeping with a video game reviewer in exchange for positive reviews. Now, the gamers were really pissed. They weaponized all that pent-up sexual frustration and started sending Zoe death threats and even leaked her address. It got so bad that she eventually had to move from her house. And eventually
Cioè,
people on 4chan and 8chan got together and decided to go after other people
oh
too.
no, oh no. Ragazzi, 8chan è come sembra, 4chan però raddoppiato, eh.
Like feminist media journalist Anita Sarkeesian and another game developer, Brianna Wu. Now, I'm guessing there was probably like 27 people total participating in these harassment campaigns, but I remember the media at the time was acting like every single male gamer in the world was a direct participant in this. Scientology.
Madonna santa, cioè. Non ho citato Sedia che fa gli short tipo storie di 4chan, tipo loro che si organizzano per fare i troll, mamma mia. Scientology, vabbè, come
So
dire.
4chan has a long-standing beef with the Church of Scientology. In 2008, they launched a whole-ass crusade against them. The whole thing
E mo quest'anno ho visto che hanno fatto anche quest'anno hanno fatto tipo il ride, cioè.
started on January 14th when a video was posted on YouTube of Tom Cruise talking about how much he loves Scientology. The video was pretty embarrassing and Tom looked like he was high on nitrous oxide. So the Church of Scientology threatened to sue
Ah,
anybody who
comunque
posted or
aggiornamenti sul mondiale. Vabbè, ha vinto 2-1 la Corea contro la Repubblica Ceca e 1-1 del Canada contro la Bosnia e Erzegovina.
posted the video. YouTube buckled under the pressure and took the video down. And after news came out that they tried to take the video down, 4chan mobilized the troops and put Project Chanology into effect. On January 21st, Anonymous released a video called Message to Scientology. It was pretty much a formal declaration of war.
Over the years, we have been watching you, your campaigns of misinformation, your suppression of dissent, your litigious nature. All of these things have caught our eye. With the leakage of your latest propaganda video into mainstream circulation, the extent of your malign influence over those who have come to trust you as leaders has been made clear to us. Anonymous has therefore decided that your organization should be destroyed.
First, they DDoS Scientology's website. Then they made it so that Scientology was the first result when Googling dangerous cult. Then people all over the world started protesting in front of Scientology centers, blasting.
Aspetta che vado. Raga, mi ero distratto. Torniamo al video allora.
Never gonna give you
Quindi.
up on their boombox.
Ah, un rickroll, bene.
Absolute certified hood classic. You know, it's funny, man, because half the time 4chan are a bunch of scumbag degenerates, and the other half they're invaluable members of society. VIP, the VIP board is
In
simply
realtà più l'altra parte, mi sa, caro
to
Dantevius.
be in that it has no rules. You can post whatever random topic you want. Anybody can see the post, but only people who cough up $20 a year can post. And I had
Immagina pagare per 4chan. Cioè.
no clue 4chan had a premium version. That's absolutely wild to me. NEAT.
Sì.
NEAT is an acronym for Not in Education, Employment, or Training. On 4chan, it's synonymous with neckbeards and lazy bums. Shrek is love, Shrek is life is
Oh, siamo arrivati a quel green text. Oh, Dio. Uff. No, aiuto. Madonna raga, la versione video mi ha... Ragazzi, ho appena realizzato perché quanto fa schifo. Quanto fa schifo sto green text. Oddio, l'ho appena letto e mamma mia fa ho appena realizzato che fa schifo. Cioè, io mi ero visto solo l'animazione e credevo no, era una cosa... Invece no, cioè...
story that was posted on January 14th, 2008. The story was about a kid who was praying to Shrek when suddenly Shrek appeared in his room and proceeded to anally brutalize him. This genre of story became a thing on 4chan, and pretty soon other people were writing tales about how they were sodomized by the Green Ogre. Burger King foot lettuce. If you're not familiar with
Mamma mia. Number 14, Burger King Foot Lettuce. Ma poi ho sentito che è morto pure, tipo, il tizio che ha scattato, che era nell'immagine, quello con i piedi nella lattuga, cioè. Marò. Hanno usato proprio quella foto proprio nel notiziario, vabbè.
disturbing things on 4chan.
Burger King foot
Foot
lettuce.
lettuce.
The last thing you'd want in your Burger King burger is someone's foot fungus. But as it turns out, that might be what you get. A 4chaner uploaded a photo anonymously to the site showcasing his feet in a plastic bin of lettuce.
4chan Twitch leak. This happened pretty recently. Back in October of 2021, somebody made this post on 4chan. In this post, the Anon linked a torrent to Twitch's source code along with a list of how much money the top streamers were making on the platform. Hackers on steroids.
okay.
One of the first ever mentions of Anonymous by the mainstream media was this guy.
They call themselves anonymous. They are hackers on steroids.
So members of Anonymous now jokingly use this term to refer to themselves. Moot retired. This is referring to Moot officially retiring as 4chan's administrator. Dude probably realized he created a Frankenstein's monster, so he called it quits. He made a post on 4chan saying he basically couldn't handle the pressure anymore. The fappening refers to an incident in 2014 where dozens of celebrities' nude photos were leaked onto 4chan and Reddit. These images were collected by a group of anonymous hackers who exploited iCloud to get access to celebrities' photos collections. Now, it started out that these guys would just share the photos amongst each other, but then one of these schmucks got greedy and decided he was going to leak them and try to make some money. Eventually, hundreds of these photos ended up on 4chan. Emma Watson, Jennifer Lawrence, Selena Gomez. Sadly, no Danny DeVito. These photos then made their way to Reddit, where a dedicated subreddit was made, r/thefappening, which got 100,000 subs in one day. Eventually, 5 of the people responsible for these leaks were charged with unauthorized access to a protected computer and were eventually sentenced to prison. Host of Jeffrey Epstein's death.
E ora l'abbiamo girato prima, eccolo qua il buon Jeffrey. Comunque, Madonna Santa, cioè, mamma mia, si vede. Noi dell'internet siamo proprio dei predatori sessuali, sempre, in un modo o nell'altro siamo sempre predatori sessuali. Comunque, il Jeffrey Epstein.
As we all know, back in 2019, Jeffrey Epstein killed himself in a New York City jail while on trial. But what you may not know is that before any mainstream news outlet broke the news, 4chan broke the news. 40 minutes before anybody reported on Epstein's passing, this post was made on 4chan. Don't ask me how I know, but Epstein died an hour ago from hanging and cardiac arrest. Hero Moot, also known as Hiroyuki Nishimura, is the creator of 2channel, which is like a Japanese version of 4chan.
Proprio.
2015 he also...
comunque ragazzi, non preoccupatevi, cioè, quella cosa di prima è un po' un'iperbole, vabbè, come dire, io non sono un predatore sessuale, no, non preoccupatevi, scusate, però 4chan pervertiti, ok? Non predatori, pervertiti, vabbè, diciamolo così, pervertiti, vabbè.
4chan, which he bought from the regular Moot. His other nicknames include Hiroshima Nagasaki.
Poi vabbè, c'è da dire che regola numero 1 dell'internet. Quando dici che non sei una cosa, gli altri ti diranno sempre di più che sei quella cosa, quindi fate finta che non ho detto niente.
Jackie 4chan, and of
Jackie
course,
Forchan.
Hiroshima. Also, there's one more name, but I'm not gonna say it. Nintendo hack. Somebody
Oh.
hacked into Nintendo servers and leaked a bunch of information on 4chan from 2018 to 2020. These leaks included source code, assets, ROMs, and sexy Bowser Rule 34. 8chan. It's like
Vabbè.
4chan,
Eh,
except twice as degenerate.
ecco qua,
The
sì,
website
ecco
came
qua.
under
Là.
a lot of heat because multiple mass scooters were active on the site.
Mm.
One in particular posted his manifesto 3 hours before committing horrible atrocities. The site's creator, Frederick
Maremma.
Brennan, says even he wants the site shut down. Boxy was basically the prototype for the modern e-girl. She posted a few videos on YouTube all the way back in 2008.
Ah, sì, me la ricordo, sta qua, sì.
Being quirky.
My name is Boxy. Most of you know me as well, no, most of you know me as Boxy, I suppose.
So these videos made their way around 4chan. The community was divided on her. Half of them hated her guts. The other half was simping for her. Boxy, being a 4chan
Come sempre. Pervertiti!
user
Papparapapapa.
herself, saw the attention she was getting on there and made a video directed at 4chan. This video pushed some of her haters over the edge. A small group of anonymous hackers got together and hacked her YouTube account, privating all of her videos and threatening to dox her if she ever made another video. And their plan worked because she stopped uploading videos, at least for a few years. She returned in 2011 under the YouTube name A New Hope. Turns out Boxy was just a character being played by a woman named Katie Wayne. Behind the meme, Zenzi. So, for context, behind the meme was a guy who made videos explaining memes. The
Ah,
videos themselves were pretty basic, surface level explanations, and honestly, kind of cringe.
Some of the popular variations being the classic shit.
ma è vera sta roba che poi si era pure tipo suicidata, sta qua? Boh, no, non mi ricordo sta roba, se si era... No, non mi ricordo, boh.
Kebab and doner kebab, which, if I'm pronouncing that right, sounds a whole lot like boner
Oppure
kebab.
era tipo una che la imita... Vabbè, non mi ricordo, raga, non mi ricordo.
Which really doesn't sound too appetizing.
So yeah, a lot of people on the internet hated this guy because he was making memes accessible to normies. But nobody hated him more than 4chan. One day, an anonymous user cooked up a scheme to try to get rid of BTN. The plan was simple. Every time he posted a video, they would comment with, "Please make a video on Zenzi," with no other context. Zenzi being something completely made up. Every time he made a video not covering Zenzi, 4chan would dislike bomb the video. They were hoping that this would eventually frustrate him to the point of giving up YouTube altogether. But their plan backfired when Behind the Meme found out about the scheme.
Zinzi, Zinzi, Zinzi. It has been all over my comment sections in the last 24 hours.
Bravo.
This meme has seemingly popped up overnight. When you go search for Zinzi, a bunch of random videos and images come up. None of them seem to have anything in common though. I wonder why. Oh, that's right, because some people apparently don't like my channel and what I do. You see, Zinzi is an attempt to get me to make a video on a meme that makes no sense and really doesn't exist, so I look like a fool and lose credibility.
Dub the Do, another
Cioè.
certified hood class.
Oh, questo lo ricordo, ci ha fatto il video sedia, questo lo
I don't
ricordo.
know why this is on level 2, this is basic level stuff, but whatever, let's recap. Mountain Dew held an online poll to decide the name of their new flavor. If you know anything about 4chan, you know they love fucking with polls. And speaking of
Sì,
people who love
l'abbia
fucking with polls,
imparato.
the name with the most votes was Hitler. Did nothing wrong. Followed closely
Cioè,
by Gushing Granny, Fapple, and Diabetes. Every copy of Super Mario 64 is personalized.
vabbè, questo è in ogni iceberg, questo qua.
4chan's X-board is known for some borderline remedial conspiracy theories, and this is probably one of the most remedial. This post reads, every copy of Super Mario 64 is personalized. Nintendo's experimental AI adapts and subtly creates a slightly altered version of the game tailored specifically for you, appealing to you subconsciously in ways that you don't even notice, as well as attempting to mess with you and study how you react to it. Have you ever played someone else's copy of Mario 64? Have you ever felt like something was just a little bit off? That's why. That's how. He will not divide us. On the day of Donald Trump's inauguration in 2017,
Oh, no.
Shia LaBeouf set up a live stream.
Just do it! Ha iniziato una live stream anti-Trump che 4 anni.
Be like a performance art piece or something. The live stream was supposed to be 24 hours a day and last 4 years until the end of Trump's presidency. The public was invited to deliver the words, "He will not divide us," to a camera mounted on a wall outside the Museum of Moving Image in New York, responding to those words in any way they wished.
Regalare un sorriso.
Comunque, troppa libertà di espressione agli utenti di 4chan.
So basically, the words "He will not divide us" were written on a wall, and there was a camera at the wall live streaming people's reactions. Why? Who the knows, man? I don't know. But a lot of people were actually showing up to this thing, including Galaxy Brain Nepo baby Jaden Smith. When the good people on poll got word of this performance, they decided to do what they do best.
Oh no.
A little troll. So poll members started showing up to the live stream, trying to trigger Shia as much as possible. And eventually Shia gave in to the trolling. And punched somebody in the face. Then he took another L when the museum that was hosting the live stream decided to shut the whole thing down because it was too much trouble.
Oh, cazzo.
Shia isn't one to give up easily. So he decided he was going to set up the live stream at another location. So he went to the most godforsaken hellhole on the entire planet. Albuquerque, New Mexico. That one was shut down too because of violence in the area.
Oh,
So Shia
cacchio.
decided instead he was just going to point the camera at a flag that had the words "He will not divide us" written on it. But the fine men on 4chan were able to track down this flag.
Oh, ma 4chan che ce l'ha con Shia LaBeouf? Mamma
The
mia.
MAGA flag. So Shia moved the flag to another location. The same thing happened. And this went on for like 17 more times before he finally gave up. Vaporeon copy.
Madonna.
Okay, I think I can just read this one.
Hey guys, did you know that in terms of male human and female Pokemon breeding, Vaporeon is the most compatible Pokemon for humans? Not only are they in the field egg group, which is mostly comprised of mammals, Vaporeon are an average of 3 feet tall and 63 pounds. This means they're large enough to be able to handle human slongs, and with their impressive base stats for HP and access to acid armor, you can be rough with one.
Shoop the Whoop is a
Va bene, ragazzi, mamma mia. Per Tiari invece è Lopunny il Pokémon, quello più... no. Andiamo avanti.
meme of Cell from Dragon Ball Z shooting
Ah, ma questo... I'm a foreign moleso! Ah, ma è bellissimo sto...
out of his mouth.
I'm a moleso.
Bane posting. Okay, this might be a little bit of a controversial opinion, but I think The Dark Knight Rises is the superior Christopher Nolan Batman movie, okay? People say Joker is a better villain than Bane, but I disagree, okay? I think those people are just NPCs.
Sono,
right? They're just bots.
sono entrambi incredibili quei due.
Can't think for themselves. That being said, I think we can all agree that the dialogue at the very beginning of the movie between Bane and Peter Baelish was a little bit off.
If I pull that off, will you die?
It would be extremely painful
You're a big guy.
for you.
People were obviously memeing on this clip hard, but things got turned up a notch when Tom Hardy, the actor who played Bane, announced that he was going to do an AMA on Reddit. So 4chan organized another classic raid on this AMA. A bunch of 4chan users flooded the AMA with questions about the scene and downvoted any questions that weren't related to it. Last night I burgered your sisters. Referring to this meme, the chan organized another classic raid on this AMA. A bunch of 4chan users flooded the AMA with questions.
Ok, it was written... va bene, ok.
About the scene and downvoted any questions that weren't related to it. Last night I burgered your sisters. Referring to this meme that somebody posted on 4chan. Nobody really knows what the actual meaning is, but it's still funny. L was the short-lived Lolicon board, which they...
Oh cazzolo! No, 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 no. Non le Lolicon, non... No.
thankfully has been deleted. If you don't know what a Lolicon is, I suggest you don't Google it unless you want the FBI showing up at your house. The shopping
Proprio oggi l'ho per sbaglio. Non ho visto immagini. Ragazzi, era per il termine, non era per le immagini. Ora, se volete, io vi andrò a leggere Allora, andiamo su Urban Dictionary e vi leggerò cos'è esattamente una Lolicon. Oh mio Dio! Sì, quello... Sì, uno che sembra un bambino, ma in realtà c'ha tipo 30 miliardi di anni. Ah, ragazzi, il Giappone.
theory. This is actually an interesting, I don't really know what to call it, a thought experiment, an observation. It goes like this.
The shopping cart is the ultimate litmus test for whether a person is capable of self-governing. To return the shopping cart is an easy, convenient task and one which we all recognize as the correct, appropriate thing to do. To return the shopping cart is objectively right. There are no situations other than dire emergencies in which a person is not able to return their cart. Simultaneously, it is not illegal to abandon your shopping cart. Therefore, the shopping cart presents itself as the apex example of whether a person will do what is right without being forced to do it.
You know, come to think of it,
Ma che cosa filosofica.
my ex-wife never put her shopping carts back. Looking back, that should have been an obvious red flag. Saki Sanobashi is one of the most famous pieces of lost anime media, and it was first mentioned on 4chan's X board. It was described as some weird anime about naked girls stuck in a large bathroom without doors, having a philosophical debate about never getting out of the room. After losing hope and starving for some days, everything goes downhill and they all whack themselves in gruesome ways.
Ah, go for a punch, io me lo ricordo, me la ricordo sta roba qua, sì, l'ho sentita da qualche parte,
I
ricordo.
also mentioned that the
Anzi, in
name
realtà la conosco da tanto, sì, da tanto tempo, in realtà,
might be something
cioè,
along the lines of
4
"Go
anni
for a
almeno.
punch." Another 4chan user said he remembers seeing something similar, but it was called Saki Sanobashi. After Mongoloid YouTube Chad Justin Wang made a video on the topic, a Reddit user named Saki Sanobashi OP made a post claiming that the original 4chan post he made was all made up, fabricated,
Bene!
because he was bored. But there's no way to verify if they're the same person, so people are still holding out hope that this thing exists. Kek Rock. This is a mythical lost video game. Images of the box art appeared on the V board, which is the video game board, and got everyone's attention because it had Kek in the name. There's no videos of gameplay or anything like that, but a bunch of people claim that they played it back in the 90s, and it was unsurprisingly shit. It's like a shitty, generic version of Banjo-Kazooie. Dusty the Cat. On February 15, 2009, 2 videos were posted by an account named ClanSpam1. The videos were of a guy abusing his cat named Dusty. Now,
Oh,
there's 2 things
cazzo!
you need to understand about 4chan. Number 1, they love cats. And number 2, they hate people who abuse cats. Anonymous was able to track down the person running the account. Turns out it was some 14-year-old schlemiel from Oklahoma named Kenny Glenn. And after 4chan contacted the local police and informed them about what was going on, Kenny was arrested. Duck rolling.
Ma no.
Duck roll was the predecessor to the rig.
Ah, sì.
You post a link to something, but you click it, it's a duck on wheels. Sarah
Cioè,
Palin email
è
hack.
stato il predecessore, come dire.
In 2008, an ancient fossil was discovered in Arizona. This
Questo è il
fossil
Big Bang del riccrollo, ok? O il prequel,
was
vabbè.
approximately 7.2 million years old. Its name was John McCain, and he was running for president in 2008. But apparently, he decided he really didn't want to win that bad, so he chose a Saturday Night Live character to be his running mate. Well, during the campaign, Sarah Palin had her email hacked by a 4chan user by the name of Rubico. He said it only took him 15 seconds to figure out her password. It was her birthday. He also said that it was nothing incriminating, but he did find some feet pics which he leaked to WikiFeed.
Bene, Popo! Nice!
He also made a
Approvo.
post on 4chan bragging about how he hacked her email and then leaked her password. But the idiot got caught because his 4chan account used his personal email address. And it turns out that the hacker was David Colonel, the son of a Democratic politician from Tennessee. Also, tell me this mother sucker doesn't look like the gay love child of Jay Paul and Andrew Callahan. Anyways, David was sentenced to a year in the slammer, and Sarah Palin compared the situation to Watergate. Taylor Swift worse man.
Oh no, Taylor
2012,
Swift, oh
famous
no.
annoying white woman Taylor Swift held a contest on Facebook to decide what school she would perform at. And of course,
Ah, me lo ricordo, oddio, sì.
manipulated the vote. The school with the number 1 most votes was Horace Mann School for the Deaf, which makes sense because her music is much better when you can't hear it. But unfortunately, Taylor ended up not going through with the concert, but she did donate $20,000 to the school, which is good on her. No fap is quite simply abstaining from touching your schlong.
Ah, vabbè, praticamente la Not November, praticamente, in poche parole.
Listen, man, a lot of people these days are straight up addicted to porn. I know a guy who whacked off at his desk at work during his daily meeting every day. So NoFap is a community based around the idea that not whacking off is beneficial both mentally and physically. It got popular on Reddit, but before r/nofap ever existed, people were doing a version of it on 4chan and other forums. Except it wasn't really about bettering yourself, they were just having a contest to see who could last the longest, a la Seinfeld. And eventually that evolved into the NoFap movement of today. WT Snacks worked as a programmer for 4chan back in the early days, and he also served as a moderator for a short time. He got fired by Moot himself because he honestly kind of sucked at moderating, but a lot of people liked him and he was super influential on the site, so they were pissed to see him go. And they even made a petition to bring him back. Operation Pridefall. As most of you know, June is Gay Pride Month. And if you didn't know that, you
adesso è giugno, sì.
probably hate gay people. Now, every year June rolls around, every company changes their logo to a pride flag and becomes super gay for the month. A lot of people on 4chan found this annoying, and they also didn't like the gay people. So in June of 2020, they organized a raid called Operation Pridefall. Every June, hundreds of massive corporations band together to smother social media with posts in favor of Pride Month, a code word for the degeneracy that is LGBT activism. Many of these accounts are rather small and get very little engagement, yet they continue to post without backlash. Beginning June 1st, the goal of Operation Pridefall is to get on Twitter, Instagram, etc., and drop a shit ton of disturbing red pills on homosexuality on the comments of these lesser-known pages. The bigger pages are okay targets, but posts tend to get unnoticed in the sea of comments. So yeah, they spammed basically every company with anti-gay stuff, but from what I can tell, not much came of it. Alien hoax. This is referring to an image which was posted to X, which was supposedly taken at Luke Air Force Base in Arizona, and it's supposedly of an alien. Now, that's not the weird part. The weird part is that immediately after getting posted, 4chan servers went down. Now, obviously, that can't just be a coincidence. It must have been a reptilian conspiracy theory to cover up the truth. The photo also spawned a lot of memes, and people posted their version of the original photo. Lee Goldson, aka Barney Fag, aka Cheese Boy, is a man who really hates Barney. This man hates Barney almost as much as I hate Franklin the Turtle, which I didn't even think was possible. Like, he wrote a whole-ass manifesto about how much he hates Barney. I've written this paper to describe some terrifying experiences throughout my life. More specifically, regarding a certain purple dinosaur that ended up getting too much screenplay during my time at school. That show is Barney and Friends. I hate this show with all my heart. Nothing can deter me from hate of this show. His autistic fixation with Barney gained him a reputation of being a bit of a lolcow. According to the Soyjack Wiki, which is a real thing, Lee spends upwards of 18 hours a day patrolling various boards on 4chan, searching for posts that contain My Little Pony and Barney imagery in an attempt to eradicate things that he deems childish from the site and fight back against the people who he believes are targeting him with said imagery.
Vado a fare pipì. Ok, torniamo.
By the way, when I say autistic fixation, I'm not saying that to poke fun at autistic people. That's literally what this is. So don't be in my comments calling me an ableist. Because I have Asperger's myself, okay? So f*** off. Self-diagnosed, but still. Yaranaika. So there's this manga called Kuso Miso Technique, which in English translates to shit technique. And it's about two guys stooping each other. In one scene, a dude is walking through the park and he sees another man wearing a jumpsuit on a park bench. The man unzips his jumpsuit and pulls out his schlong and says, Yaranaika? Which means, shall we do it? They then proceed to anally probe each other in the shower and make some funny faces. And the faces they made in these scenes turn into memes of their own.
Ok.
And didn't know the origin.
Ma no, la prima l'ho vista, Forse la seconda sì, però la prima... cioè la seconda non lo so, però la prima assolutamente l'ho visto qualche parte.
Justin Bieber, North Korea. Justin Bieber has
anche questo, raga.
A crazy character arc over the years. He went from being one of the most hated people in America to being slightly less hated. Nobody hated JB more than the fine men on 4chan. So whenever they got the opportunity to troll him a little bit, they didn't let it go to waste. One of the best trolling campaigns against Bieber was Operation North Korea is Best Korea. In 2010, a voting page was launched on Justin's website where people could vote for what country he would perform on during his world tour. And I think you know where I'm going with this. At the number one spot,
Perché Napoli?
the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. unfortunately, Bieber didn't end up going. Some sad shit. 4chan
Oh.
City is a
Oh, no.
4chan themed cartoon made by YouTuber NCHP Productions.
Che succede? Ok, bene,
The description of this video says
figata.
it's an old and silly animation I stupidly did for 4chan back when I was doing drugs or something. I regret
Le
it.
droghe.
Creepy Chan refers to
A
model
Creepy
Allison
Chan.
Harvard, who posted some creepy photos of herself on MySpace that ended up on 4chan. Her appearance was straight out of a shitty horror movie, which led people to give her the nickname Creepy Chan. Cracky Chan. Similar to
Vabbè.
Creepy Chan, we have Cracky Chan. In 2005, she posted some photos of herself wearing cat ears with the words Sup 4chan written on her palm. And people were
Vabbè.
simping for her hard. She was being discussed so much that one of the mods had to filter out the word cracky. And the obsession with her often went too far. People made entire websites dedicated to her, and she was being harassed online. And people even called her place of work asking for her. Cracky pretty much completely withdrew from the internet after this wave of attention, but weirdos to this day are still trying to find her. Pokemon Clover is a ROM hack developed by 4chan's VP board, which is dedicated to Pokemon. It started out as a shittier version of Pokemon Fire Red, but eventually it evolved into an actually good game. They added new locations, a new story, music, characters, even new original Pokemon, all with a 4chan theme. Honestly,
Cioè,
it looks pretty good. I might have to give it a
è
try.
tipo Pokémon marron merda. Cioè,
Right, when I'm not busy having copious amounts of sex with your mother. J.J. Brand, September 18, 2006. This was posted on 4chan. On Sunday, there will be 7 dirty explosives detonated in 7 U.S. cities. The death toll will approach 100,000 from the initial blast, and countless other fatalities will later occur as a result from radioactive fallout. The bombs themselves will be delivered via trucks. These trucks will pull up to stadiums hosting NFL games. The 22nd of October will mark the final day of Ramadan, as it would fall in Mecca. Osama bin Laden will then issue a video message claiming responsibility for what he dubs America's Hiroshima.
oh
In the
cazzo.
aftermath, civil wars will erupt across the world, both in the Middle East and within the United States.
Aspetta, voglio... Ragazzi, indovinate cosa? Video lungo, mi metto a doom scrollare su Reddit. Si è fatto pure mezzanotte. Il terrorista, eravamo rimasti là.
Obviously, the
Allora.
FBI is patrolling 4chan 24/7, and they took this threat seriously. It didn't take long to track down the person responsible for this post, and it turned out to be some schlemiel named Jake from fucking Wisconsin. So Jake got sentenced to 6 months in prison for his little prank, and everybody on 4chan learned a valuable lesson. And that's, if you fuck around, inevitably, at some point you're gonna find out. B-Day was basically a 4chan civil war. Now, as you all know, 4chan is really fond of doing raids.
Un'altra
In
guerra.
2006, it was getting a little bit out of hand. There was a new 4chan raid going on like every week. So Moot himself had to step in and issue a statement that mods would be enforcing stricter regulation on raids and also on jailbait, which was pervasive in B.
Ah sì, jailbait. Ragazzi, su Reddit r/jailbait era a un certo punto tipo il subreddit più popolare, quindi cioè, ma no, arriverà quello sui post di Reddit, vedremo.
An absolute uproar. It was speculated by a lot of people that the reason for this sudden crackdown is that the Anons had recently started going hard at furries. And apparently, some high-profile 4chan mods happened to be furries. Either way, half of the bee population declared war on the other half because they saw these new rules as going against everything 4chan stood for. So there was a mass exodus of people from 4chan to 7chan, where they started plotting against their former home. A guy by the name of Captain Cornflake even wrote a declaration of bee dependence. They have plundered our post and deprived us of our jailbait. They have forced upon us their twisted ideology of furry fandom. They have deprived us of our ability to fight our enemies, forcing us to submit to the wishes of the fur. We are anonymous. We are B. Our home is no longer on 4chan. In these times of unrest, we have formed the state of 7chan.org as our new sovereign nation on the worldwide internet. Signed, Anonymous. But that was not the end. Not too long after making the transition to 7chan, they immediately started flooding B with that script. So much so that 4chan servers got overwhelmed and the entire website went down. The B-tards on 4chan followed suit and tried to do the same to 7chan, but they failed. After a few days, 4chan came back and 7chan tried to attack again, but their second-rate attempt failed. Eventually, the two sides were able to somewhat reconcile after many years, but the veterans of this war still have flashbacks to this day. Many of them have never adjusted back to regular life.
War never changes.
Pipergate.
Infatti.
Until 2021 there were a couple of
Che era
YouTube channels.
questo?
Piper Barnes, Piper Rocks.
Ah, sì, sì, era un pedofilo, ragazzi, ovviamente. Siamo i pedofili. Ah, in passato per fare il pedofilo dovevi avere la stanza, dovevi avere un camion, dovevi avere, che ne so, le caramelle, le stanze quelle grandi, no? Ah, invece mo serve solo il computer e beh, basta.
Piper. These channels featured a young girl named Piper who would make these weird edits with sexual undertones.
One could simply look at the outro that she had adopted not long after starting her uploads. It's something that I'm choosing not to show you, and something that I don't suggest you seek out either, as essentially it's a revealing upward shot of a young girl wearing a small skirt.
And it gets much more disturbing.
Commenters would say things like, "I love you, what's your Snapchat? LOL, you did it. You need some more booty shaking, but it was still good. And estoy enamorado, contactimonos."
Bro, I don't know what's more disturbing, the comments themselves or Nick's pronunciation of them. So, a group of 4chan users did a huge investigation into this channel and wrote an entire report on the top. In the report, it was revealed that there was a pedo ring behind these videos. The ringleader was a man named William G. Whitaker, a 65-year-old convicted sex offender from Florida. The really fucked up thing is that this
Che per cosa?
This guy owned a child modeling agency called Wizard Productions where, quote, parents would take their kids to be filmed, typically dancing or singing, with the hopes that their kids would become famous, showing off their various talents. Now, keep in mind that this putz was already a convicted predator, so the whole agency...
Scusate, dovevo urlare, scusa, no, è troppo cursato, ragazzi, scusate.
Illegal, so the police shut it down. But for some reason, he didn't go to jail for this. And it's believed that the footage of the girls that he captured during his time in the modeling agency were used in his YouTube videos. The good news is, though, William won't be targeting any girls anymore, because he dead. John Lennon, the absolute madman.
Ok, John Lennon, perché?
John Lennon.
Ah, sì, questa foto, me la ricordo. Questa è...
Like an absolute madman. Mangumgate. On the music
Vabbè, proprio siamo passati da un pedofilo a letteralmente una foto di John Lennon, vabbè.
A user named Eddie posted a photo of Jeff Mangum from his high school yearbook. To be honest, I don't really know anything about music because I only listen to Mongolian throat singing. But if you're like me and have no clue who this guy is, he's the lead singer for the band Neutral Milk Hotel, which I guess is popular on Mule.
L'ho sentito da qualche parte, però sì.
Anyways, as I was saying, somebody posted a photo of him from his high school yearbook, and later on, another person posted a photo of somebody named Caroline Mangum, who I'm assuming is his sister, because that can't be a common last name. Now, is there anything familiar about this girl to you guys? Does she look like someone to you? Let me help you out. Here's a picture of Anne Frank next to Caroline Mangum. You see it now? And then it gets even crazier.
Oh, cazzo.
Astra. There's only one explanation. Jeff traveled back in time, brought Anne Frank with him to the future, where she posed as his sister, and then married her. Either that or they just look slightly similar. Now, I'm pretty sure...
Mettete il vostro cappello di latta,
He
ragazzi.
actually believes this, but then again, people believe some crazy shit, alright? There's people who actually believe that it's okay not to be sub to Dantavius. Death metal. Pachinko is an obscure British indie rock band from the late 90s. They were basically a group of friends from high school who started a band in their garage in England. They never saw much success and broke up in 2001 after only 4 years. But in 2016, somebody discovered one of their demo tapes in a shit bin at some dirty charity store in Nottingham, England. The guy then posted the tape to 4chan, and people actually enjoyed it a lot. They started getting a cult following. After 20 years, the band had enough of a fan base that they started touring around the world, which just goes to show that you should never give up. Because it might take 2 years, it might take 20 years, but eventually you'll get a break. Taylor Swift is a 4chan user. Now, we've talked a lot of crazy conspiracies so far, but this one might just take the cake as the most batshit insane theory I've ever stumbled upon. There are rumors swirling around the nether that Taylor Swift is an avid 4chan user. Now, on the surface, this makes no sense because she's been the target of 4chan's trolling multiple times and generally isn't very well liked in that neck of the woods. But let's see the evidence. First, there's this post of a woman from the nose down with the caption, "Hi B, I'm feeling down. Please make me smile." The girl looks suspiciously similar to Taylor Swift. Also, the walls in the background of this image appear in another photo of Taylor Swift that she posted to her own Instagram. Then there's this image Taylor Swift posted to Instagram with the caption, "Nothing quite like a freezing cold wintry beach." The very same day this post was made to 4chan, somebody looked at the metadata of this image and it turns out it was taken the same day that Taylor posted her photo. And probably the most convincing piece of evidence is that somebody posted a picture of their cat and said, one random person will get to name it. The person who was selected chose the name Meredith. And Taylor has a cat that looks just like the cat from the post. And you know what its name is? Meredith. Man, if it turns out Taylor
Tutti
Swift really
punti,
is a beat
tutti.
her career is officially over. Battletoads
Cioè,
is a classic
come se già non fosse abbastanza odiata, come dire, però dettagli, raga, dettagli.
Prank where people would call into GameStop and ask if they could pre-order Battletoads. Eventually, GameStop employees were getting so many calls that this gave them PTSD. Like, this was Vietnam and 9/11 combined if you worked at GameStop in the mid-2000s.
My son went down there and looked for a game called Battletoads, and you didn't have it, and I'm wondering why you're shooting the whoop for him.
I'm gonna take this Battletoads and shove it so far up your ass, buddy. I don't have time for this bull.
Floor tile fetish. When it comes to fetishes, I've heard them all. I once knew a guy that was aroused at the thought of beating up turtles. But here's a fetish I bet you've never heard of before. Floor tiles. Yes, you heard me right. I said floor tiles.
Piastrelle del pavimento. Cosa c'è di sexy nelle piastrelle del pavimento? Bah!
2013, OP asked for game suggestions to get his mind off a recent traumatic experience. You see, his sister had just come home and noticed that there was a puddle of man milk on the kitchen floor. When he was pressed on why his nut was splattered all over the tile, he simply said he had a fetish he didn't care to mention. But eventually he relents and spills the beans. OP was attracted to floor tiles. He even showed his directory of different types of floor tiles that he whacks off. Well, floor tile guy, congratulations. You officially win my Degenerate of the Day award. Actually, I should probably save that until the end of the video. I'm sure
curare, per
something will
favore.
show up later. In 2009, Time Magazine held their yearly poll to decide who would be on their top 100 most influential people of the year.
Sarà...
Of course, 4chan manipulated the results and got Moot to the #1 most influential person. If that wasn't enough, they also picked the rest of the list too, which they arranged in a way so that the first letter of their names would spell out the words marble cake and also the game.
The Game per sì, la roba di l'abbiamo perso che Mubarak, Tina Fey, Hu Jintao, Lil Wayne, Kobe Bryant, Angela Merkel. Bobo, grazie per aver contribuito, cioè basta.
Fuck, now I gotta explain what all that means. So marble cake is a sexual act which I won't mention because I'm a gentleman. It's also the name of the chat room where supposedly Project Chanology originated. And the game is a game where the object of the game is to not think about the game. So by me mentioning the game, all of you have lost the game. God damn, dude, this is like a blast from the past. If you didn't grow up playing the game, then consider yourself lucky because it was the most annoying shit ever back in the day. No joke, I had a friend who I stopped talking to because he would say, I lost the game. Every 5 minutes. 4chan ISP bans.
Fatemi sapere di sto Marble Cake. No.
So a few years back, there was a shooting in New Zealand which was live streamed and widely shared on 4chan. The perpetrator was a big 4chan enjoyer, and a lot of internet service providers in Australia and New Zealand straight up banned 4chan because of this, and and a bunch of other websites. I don't know if that's still the case, but it was for a while. OxyChan. Bianca Devins was your average teenager who spent a lot of time on the internet. In her free time, she ran a Discord server with people she met on 4chan and went by her online handle, OxyChan. On July 14th, 2019, Bianca had her life taken away from her by a man named Brandon Andrew Clark. Clark
Oh
posted photos of
cazzo.
Bianca's body on Instagram and Discord after he did what he did. The two had met on
Oh no.
Instagram sometime in April of 2019
Oh
and became
shit.
friends. It's not clear if the two were in a romantic relationship, but they did start hanging out in real life after about 2 months of talking on the internet. On July 13th, Bianca and Brandon went to a concert in New York City, and Bianca's friend Alex, who she also met on Discord, came with them. Apparently, at some point, Bianca and Alex kissed, and Brandon was not happy about it. So that night, in a fit of jealousy, he sliced Bianca's throat and posted the photos all over the internet. And the photos spread on social media and 4chan like wildfire. It was so bad that they actually had to pass laws to prevent things like this from happening in the future. Furries. Possibly the most hated minority group of all time, right? Above Jews and right under Raiders fans.
No, no, no. No, mi dissocio sulla battuta sugli ebrei. Vabbè, comunque, Maronna Santa, ragazzi, Maronna Santa! Luca Bizzarri di Luca e Paolo aveva parlato un tipo dal basement di tipo uno che aveva incontrato, di tipo uno che gli aveva commentato tipo su Facebook e che poi aveva scoperto aveva ucciso qualcuno, cioè, mamma mia ragazzi, mamma mia. Mamma mia, i social media, mamma mia.
Created a fur board in 2005 made specifically for furries, but impossibly one of the most based acts in human history, he banned all of them and closed the board the next day. FBI party van. Now, as I briefly mentioned earlier, it's pretty clear to most people that the FBI monitors 4chan, since a lot of wild stuff goes down there. So the term FBI party van comes from the idea that if you say something out of pocket on there, the FBI is going to pull up your IP and take you away in a party van. Mad Max Ogre is referring to this post where some dude is holding up a copy of Mad Max Fury Road with the caption, "Aw yeah, just got back from Coco to get a copy of Fury Road. Anyone else picked it up?" Now, at first glance, this seems like a perfectly normal post. But upon closer inspection, this dude has a Shrek hand. Shrek straight up left the swamp.
È una malformazione. Maronna Santa.
And walked his ass to Costco and picked up a copy of Mad Max Fury Road on Blu-ray. SpongeBob is a grotesque, hideously deformed version of the beloved children's cartoon character, SpongeBob.
Maronna Santa.
The exact origin of SpongeBob is unknown, but the only thing I know for sure is that it'll haunt my dreams forever. Toilet mushrooms is referring to a guy who found a startling discovery in his toilet. And no, it wasn't a rare purple dookie, it was mushrooms. Mushrooms growing out of his toilet. And it didn't take much to convince this guy to eat those toilet shrooms. So either he's dead or has superpowers. And remember, the next time you go to a restaurant and order a mushroom dish, it might have come out of a toilet. A few months ago, I invited a neat boy to come and live with me. I'm also a neat, but my parents are rich, and I was able to offer him anything he wanted. But in return, he had to live with me and take female hormone injections, as well as take care of himself and dress in cute clothes. As of now, he's pretty happy. I buy him lots of things, and hormone treatment is going good. As you can see, his skin is becoming very soft, and he's gaining weight in all the right places. And then he posted a picture of the dude, butt-ass naked, in some kind of prison under his bed. Rachel Weisner versus 4chan. In 2010, a girl named Rachel Weisner offered a trade to the people of 4chan. If they bought her a pizza, she would post a picture of her bare breasts. 4chan kept up their end of the bargain and sent her the complimentary pizza. But Rachel didn't honor her end of the deal. Instead, she posted this photo mocking 4chan. Then she bragged about her epic troll on Facebook. But Rachel was about to learn a hard lesson.
Oh no.
Mess with sexually repressed basement dwellers. Get away with it. It only took a few days, but people were able to find her real name, address, school, parents, even her boyfriend. And they posted it all on 4chan for the world to see. I wonder if it was worth the free pizza. Anon finds a grenade. This is an iconic green text story. Guy makes a post saying, "Look what I found in the forest today. Is it dangerous?" He then obviously gets goaded into pulling the pin of the grenade, which eventually he gives in and pulls it. As you fuckers suggested, I tried pulling the pin, but basically the whole top broke off. I left it there for a few minutes, but nothing happened. What do next? Then he put it in the microwave. OP here, sorry it took so long. I tried burning it several minutes. Nothing happened for fuck's sake. A couple minutes later, he was running it over with his car, and that was the last anybody ever heard of this guy.
Okay.
RIP. RIP. The Ohio fetish.
Ohio fetish, eh?
That's related to video games. I have a fetish for the state of Ohio, and I regularly practice it on Minecraft as a form of one-sided erotic roleplay. After much convincing, the Anon finally relented and decided to explain what exactly it was about Ohio that made his pee-pee hard.
Cacchio, Maronna, il meme di Down in Ohio, Maronna santa, quel meme, quello là su TikTok, Maronna.
Post this really long green text, which I'll summarize. Basically, the guy was really into geography, hiking, exploring landscapes, things of that nature. He especially was interested in the Ohio River Valley long hunters, who were like the best land surveyors in history. One day, a guy who wrote a book on the long hunters came into town for a book signing, so Anon goes and the author invited him on a hike with them and a bunch of other long hunter fanatics. So Anon agrees, and on the hike, all the members start doing drugs. While he's high out of his mind, the author of the book starts explaining in detail how the Ohio River Valley was created and does a deep dive into the geography. While that was going on, the author guy was also touching his pee-pee. At the end of the story, Anon has a pleasure bomb all over the floor, and the author says to him, I know you may not understand, but becoming a long hunter is a long process that requires a deep spiritual connection to the woods. I hope I've helped you out. And now he has an Ohio fetish. Man, I don't know what's more disturbing, the fact that the guy basically got assaulted or the fact that it happened in Ohio. Has anyone really been far, even as decided to use what to do look more like? A link to a YouTube video featuring gameplay of a Wii game called The Conduit was posted on 4chan, and the first comment on it was, has anyone really been far even as decided to use what to do look more like? What does this mean? Was OP having a seizure, or was this code for something? Nobody knows. 0 hour is defined as the time which a planned operation, typically a military one, is set to begin. Holtards have been predicting what's called the 0 hour for years, which is the moment in which the New World Order will finally initiate their plan of global domination. Agile 2013, an analyst board at work one day posted a call to action. Hello, B. I come to you in a time of great need. I'm bored as fuck at a work-related conference, Agile 2013, in Nashville, and I'm ready to off myself. They have one object that could definitely pass the time and ruin the entire conference and spread lulz. 5 giant screens that post tweets under the tag #Agile 2013. The tweets fly by 5 of these massive screens as conference attendees contribute bullshit messages. Ridiculous avatars, gore, and trap imagery would be much appreciated and make me smile. Please. Pretty please. And it didn't take long for OP's wish to come true. Suddenly, the bullshit corporate messages began getting drowned out by stuff like this. Fuck my ass. There's a guy having sex with a dead person in the toilets? Tongue-punching fart boxes for $30 an hour. Concerning teamwork, Asians should be ignored, as they are only good for making electronics for cheap. You get the idea. Agile 2013 tried as hard as they could to get this under control, and things only got worse. You see, the Agile 2013 website had a live Twitter feed, which would display all the latest images with the hashtag Agile2013. So, photos of people enjoying themselves at the conference were replaced with gay porn and caca. 4chan had done it again, and OP had the greatest conference experience of all time. So Sam Hyde is a YouTuber slash comedian that's popular on 4chan. Every time there's a mass scooting or terrorist attack in the US, these photos start circulating of Sam Hyde that trick people into thinking that he was the perpetrator. Bolsonaro hack.
Perché?
Third,
Bolsonaro.
President Jair Bolsonaro opened up his Wells Fargo app and started looking through his transactions, as he does every day. $80 for Fogo de Chao, $1,200 for hookers, $5,000 for student loans, $70,000 on Steam games. Wait, what? That can't be right. So he calls his credit card company to complain. Turns out his credit card had been charged for hundreds of thousands of dollars that he had no idea about. Now, he had been in this situation a few times in the past. Too much booze and coke will do that to a man. But that wasn't the case this time. You see, some random schmuck on 4chan figured out his credit card information and leaked it along with his address and other personal data. 30-year-old wizard. This is the idea that if somebody reaches the age of 30 without having relations, then they will somehow generate superpowers. Which it sounds ridiculous, but then again, Isaac Newton and Nikola Tesla, 2 of the smartest men of history, famously never stooped. So there might be something to this. This post is over. In the age of NFTs, it's no longer surprising to anyone that a useless image can sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think one anon on 4chan summed it up best. Art used to be something to cherish. Now anything can be art. This post is art. And he was right, because a framed copy of this post sold on eBay for $90,000 back in 2014. Speaking of eBay, we got the Beyblade eBay auction. eBay. The only place where you can buy something and only get an empty box in return. eBay is notorious for a bunch of stupid shenanigans and tomfoolery. Take this auction, for instance. Selling 8 Beyblades to replace a destroyed bathtub, accompanied by a photo of 2 kids who look really shy. We are selling 8 Beyblades. 2 of them will light up. As you can tell, they are not happy about this. They have been using the bathtub as a battle arena. And Beyblades plus bathtub equals destruction. With the metal ones, they managed to scrape the enamel off the tub, take a chunk of the tub out, and break off the soap holder. So, if you win this auction, don't play with the bathtub. We have received a quote of $500 to replace this tub, some tiles, and the soap holder, plus labor, of course. They had approximately $125.67 in their piggy banks that will be going towards the cost. We will use the profit from this auction towards the balance, and then it is on to other toys. Good luck bidding. PayPal only. Once the photo of the 2 kids made its way to 4chan, people immediately started photoshopping it in funny ways. But it didn't stop there. A lot of people on B weren't too fond of this mother's attempt at public humiliation. So they sprang into action and immediately started putting in a bunch of fake bids for Beyblades, eventually running the price up to $1 million. The mother herself put out a statement saying, "I wanted to let you know that eBay took the listing down because of all the fake bids. We do have the option to relist. It did not violate any eBay codes. But we are undecided if we will. We received several hundred emails in the last few hours that we had the listing up. Most of the emails were not very nice, and not sure if we're willing to deal with that again." Yeah, I mean, the messages might not have been very nice, but neither is exposing your kids to public humiliation on the internet. I mean, come on, they were just doing kids stuff. You should have just taken care of it the old-fashioned way and beat them with a wooden spoon like my mom did to me. And look how good I turned out. You dumb broad. Scooby 1961. These days, YouTube is infested with fitness channels shilling supplements and pretending to not be on steroids. But back in the early days of YouTube, the most popular YouTuber in the genre was a guy by the name of Scooby 1961. Scooby was also a regular poster on 4chan's Fit board, where he was pretty popular, but not everybody liked him. In fact, a small group of people disliked him so much that they posted his name and address.
Oh cazzo, doxing.
Posted what he said would be his last video due to the real-life harassment he was dealing with.
Ma poi Scooby, cioè.
Disturbing events require that some changes be made for the safety of my family, including relocation and shutting down social media.
Most people on 4chan and pretty much every other fitness message board on the internet denounced the doxer and tried to convince Scooby not to give up. And luckily, he didn't. In fact, he's still posting to this very day. Absolute chat. 4chan dancing.
Bravo.
One of the biggest pastimes on 4chan is making fun of fat people. On February 13th,
me lo ricordo, mamma mia questo.
A photo of an absolute unit dancing in the club, and another photo of him looking all sad, with the caption, "Spotted this specimen trying to dance the other week. He stopped when he saw us laughing."
E poi, lo sapete cosa è successo?
4chan, people were appalled at how mean-spirited it was. Journalist Cassandra Fairbanks decided to find the man and do something nice for him. He was eventually identified as London's very own Sean O'Brien. Bro, tell me why I knew this dude was British from the very first second I laid eyes on him. I don't know how. Anyways, Cassandra held a fundraiser for our boy Sean and threw him a big party in LA with special guests Moby and Monica Lewinsky.
Immagina che diventi noto per un post su 4chan dove ti chiamano dove scherzo sul fatto che tu sei un ciccione, ti ritrovano, poi ti vanno a fare una festa, invitano Moby e Monica Lewinsky, nota per aver fatto per aver, come dire, fatto il suki a Bill Clinton. Vabbè, avete capito.
While he was in LA, he even threw the first pitch at the Dodgers game. So all in all, the dude had a pretty good time. I'm happy for the bloke. 4chan blockade.
Comunque, ma che è la Lewinsky che mo, cioè, è diventata molto più fregna, mo che sta invecchiando, non lo so.
Blockade is a Roblox game where players can create their own world. It's kind of like Minecraft, but in Roblox. Anyways, for some unspecified reason, on May 6, 2020, 4chan decided to make the game their next target for a raid. That afternoon, somebody logged into Block 8 and started spamming strong language and racist stuff, typical of 4chan. But Fuchs, the creator of Block 8, caught wind of it and quickly privated the server before any real damage was done. But I guess the whole situation left him traumatized because he quit Roblox altogether. Person injects glowing substance in his veins. I mean, this one's pretty self-explanatory. Dude just injected straight up a mana potion into his vein. He was probably casting fireballs in his bedroom after this shit. We make cool crystals and post results. Okay, so this is easy. You should have all these chemicals you need around the house. First, you'll need 5 pennies and a straw. Get a clear jar, scoop 2 tablespoons of salt into it, and 1 tablespoon of baking soda. Now, you need ammonia. Pour it in the jar until it's 2/3 of the way full. Then fill the rest of the jar with bleach. Now, drop the pennies into the bottom and quickly take the straw and blow bubbles into the pennies. You should begin to see stringy crystals form after about 30 seconds of blowing. I'm going to teach you guys something very important. Ammonia plus bleach equals mustard gas, okay? If you mix these things together, you will probably die. Anthony Fantano shooting. On October 1st,
Oh no.
2015, Chris Mercer went to his community college in Oregon and ended the lives of 8 people. Before the attack,
Some of you guys are alright. Don't go to school tomorrow if you're in the Northwest. A happening thread will be posted tomorrow morning. So long, space robots.
Now, if you look closely at that clip, you'll notice that that's a photo of Anthony Fantano. This is real. Like, they actually fucked up and put this photo on a live news broadcast. That's because the actual guy looks kind of like Anthony, and people on 4chan were posting side-by-side photos of him, so I think it got to the top of Google. So yeah, the boomers at the news station probably saw the top Google search results and then got confused and put the wrong photo. Reiko's Trap Harem. In the depths of the R9K board, there was a man who was up to some tomfoolery of the highest degree. I won't rest until every sissy boy on R9K has started hormone replacement therapy, or at the very least starts cross-dressing. Less shitty genes in the world and more traps for me. These are the words of Reiko 3333, the most diabolical degenerate in 4chan history. And that's saying something. Reiko's main goal in life was to get as many people as possible to start doing HRT and become traps, or femboys. His evil plot was laid out by one of his victims in this post. Once his scheme was discovered, he made a lot of enemies. And a lot of people are trying to dox him to this very day. Turkey Tom made like an hour-long video about this guy. I suggest you guys watch it. It's absolutely insane. The Grifter. The Grifter is the title of a video that supposedly will ruin your life. People who have seen this video are said to experience depression, nausea, nightmares, just general feelings of unease. All there's left of this video is a small clip, so be warned. If you're easily disturbed, skip ahead 3 seconds. Hey, it's Franklin. The first known mention of this video was in 4chan's X board in 2009, but apparently the video itself had been posted to...
Ma cos'è basta sta gag di... che odi Franklin la tartaruga? Io me lo guardavo da piccolo quel cartone.
4chan a year before, but by this point it had already disappeared from the internet. It was a video posted on here back in 2008. Don't know exactly what it was because I never had the balls to watch it. Everyone who saw it complained about having nightmares and not being able to describe it. Most people didn't even want to talk about it. It was on YouTube originally, but it got taken down pretty quickly. Well, it wasn't snuff or anything like that, but apparently it was just some really weird audio-visual thing with some moving in the background that created this really unnerving feeling. People reportedly got sick, having nightmares, and apparently even whacked themselves. But I don't know if anyone confirmed that. Let me just say, it was the worst 2 minutes of my life. I'd rather fab to 3 guys 1 hammer 10,000 times before I ever watch that shit again. Those were some testimonials. The only thing left of its existence now is a few still shots that are allegedly from the video. I mean, let's be honest, it sounds like another horseshit creepypasta, but you never know. You never know. Ori Chef is referring to this strange Facebook account that was discovered by somebody on 4chan's paranormal board. So I was just on Facebook, like a normie that I am, and I came across a comment in a post that's a bit unnerving. The comment was obviously not entirely in English, but she explains how she wants to be cremated before her husband or some type of thing. She kept talking about her friend Susie or something. I got weirded out by this and tried to click the Facebook account to know what the fuck is up with this lady. This is where it gets weirder. This is her friends list. I don't know why, but I suddenly got creeped out by how many of her accounts there are. Every picture was recycled by her and only slightly changed the name. Every bio she adds has some kind of weird or cryptic message of some kind, like cheese bread from an almond milkshake or pita bread from a seasoned beef, kind of shit like that. So people would
Aspetta. Ok,
naturally confused as to the purpose of these accounts and why they had these weird, seemingly nonsensical bios. Could these be some kind of coded messages, or somebody who's mentally ill? An AI gone rogue? A troll? I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities here. But it gets even weirder when OP came across a comment of hers that was just a list of phrases. And again, these phrases made no sense. Translated into English, they read, always take a bath every day. Always use dental floss after brushing your teeth. Always use mouthwash 7 years old enough after brushing teeth. Always use deodorant after taking a bath. Be like me. I don't know what that's about, but I feel like OP is trying to subliminally influence these sweaty neckbeards into cleaning themselves up. Now, somebody actually reached out to Ori on Facebook and asked why there's so many accounts, and she responded that she made them because she uses them to play games on Facebook, which kind of makes sense, I guess. I've done this too back in the day. You know, in order to unlock certain items in a game, you would have to send an invite to one of your Facebook friends to join the game. So people would just make another account and send the invite to themselves as a workaround. But that still leaves a lot of questions unanswered. And the story gets even weirder. Alongside the nonsensical ramblings, you find random pictures of gore, things of that nature. This is delicious cake. You must eat it is a phrase that originated on 2chan, but later became a popular meme on 4chan as well. It's a reference to Super Mario 64 where you beat the game, Peach gives Mario a cake. After all that bullshit that she put Mario through, and all he gets is a stupid, lousy cake. Z. The Z board was a short-lived 4chan board where a new moderator was chosen from the user base every month or so. The first mod was a guy by the name of Soviet Russia, and much like the real Soviet Russia, the board quickly descended into chaos. At one point, it was pretty much just all gay porn. After only a few months, Moot and WT Snacks closed Z permanently, and it went down as another failed experiment. Dreamscape, or My Diary Desu, is a book that was written by a collaboration of people from 4chan's literature board. Here's the description. Successful marathon runner, survivor of sexual abuse, son to a transgender parent killer, violent car crash enthusiast, Jason Fadon dwells within the world of Dreamscape, where everything is not as it seems. In Jay's journey, we come to experience mind-boggling revelations in places where we may never have considered. Discover the true nature of Chef Boyardee's classic beef ravioli in tomato and meat sauce. Treatises and essays on the condition of the virtual and mimetic age. The implications of the new sincerism in Islamic Scandinavia, with twists and turns that simply defy the laws of narrative reality itself. Become awakened and enlightened by this extraordinary piece of fiction, all crafted by the ever-pioneering community on 4chan's literature board. God damn, man, this is the most plot-heavy story I've ever heard, but honestly, I might have to pick up this literary masterpiece, put it right next to my copy of Fear and Trembling. 4chan trying to knock over a traffic cone. So they used to be
un cono
these sites,
stradale,
I don't know if
cosa?
it's today, but they would just live stream random locations around the world. So this one guy found one
mi
in
ricordo.
Norway that was pointed at a traffic cone. He then issued a challenge to 4chan to see if they could knock the traffic cone over without actually doing it themselves. So these mother suckers started ordering pizzas to that exact location, hoping that the pizza guy would accidentally knock the cone over, but they were unsuccessful. So next, they would call the paramedics and police to that location, hoping that they would knock
Oh
it over.
mio
But
Dio.
when that didn't work, some schmuck called his cousin in Norway and lied to him that he was in the country visiting and to meet him at that address. When his cousin showed up, obviously Anon wasn't there. So they were hoping that the cousin would get mad enough that he would kick the cone over. And eventually they got the wish. The dude got pissed, got in his car and drove off. But when he backed his truck up, he hit the cone and knocked it over. Now, there's no video evidence of that last part of the tale. I'm just going off what the guy who made this iceberg chart said. I believe everything I read on the internet, so it's probably true.
Bene. Madonna che viaggio. Cioè, gironi dell'inferno dantesco, ragazzi, sto cacchio di iceberg è stato matto. È stato matto, 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 è stato matto. Ragazzi, domani si scende in Calabria. Io vi saluto, ci vediamo. Ciao.